You're listening to Unjiggered, a bartender podcast where we interview highly successful bartenders about their careers, lives, and the passion of bartending. This week we caught up with Tony Pescatori, the bar manager of the world-famous Nightjar in London. We talk about moving to London, the drive of always wanting to be new and different, as well as how he makes his drinks so unique. With this podcast, we want to peel back the mask and discover just how the greats really became the greats. So sit back and enjoy.
Hi everyone, my name's Tony from Niger. I've been bar manager in Niger for the last 3 years and for a total of probably 6 years. And very happy to be here, obviously very humbled since I've seen that on the podcast you guys had names such as, big names such as Jimmy and Ueno-san. And yeah, thanks very much for having me, Michele. It's great to be here in Mandarin Oriental with this 35 degrees outside.
Mega hot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for finding the time. It's awesome to have you over. It's finally great to see someone from Niger. You guys tend to be quite quiet most of the times. Quiet and reserved.
I don't know, maybe we're a little bit shy or over-focused, I would say, yeah.
You guys work very hard,
style, yeah.
So I'm sure it was mostly about focus, was it?
Yeah, we like hard work. I mean, it's mainly about, spend a lot of time in terms of research, and it's what we like to do here.
So let's dive straight in. Niger is one of the, it's an institution, right? I mean, as an independent bar, it's been around for...
It's 9 years now, yeah.
Yeah, it's been around for 9 years. For an independent bar, that's an incredible amount of time.
That's, yeah.
And it is probably been one of the bars that defined, the generation of bartending that I was part of, meaning when I arrived in London early 2010s, that's when Niger was kicking in and was very influential. So it's great to have you over.
Fun. Actually, I arrived to London the same year. It was 2010, and yeah, Niger was one of the first places I fell in love with, and the insane amount of different knowledge or different things going on you could see there. Not just only the flashy things that you could have, but you also the particular kind of different flavors were going on, and the team was very strong. Marian, Luca, Gabriele, Martina, they were all great guys, and they've been obviously a big part of my development in terms of my career. Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit where you come from. So where do you come from exactly?
I am obviously from Italy. It's a very common name, Tony in Italy.
Yeah, probably it's like 90% of the stereotypical Italians have named Tony.
True that. So I never really have to explain where I'm from.
That's good.
Most of them, they get it from the accent sometimes. Even if, pretty much it's 10 years that I'm in London, 9 years. I'm Italy. I'm from Lazio, which is the top part of Lazio, which is pretty much the same distance between Florence and Rome. So the area where I'm from, it really looks like sort of Florence hillside. Very good olive fields and wineries. It's quite cool. Cool climate. Temperate. And I'm from a very, very small village. I think it's pretty much 2,000 people now. They keep dying. And yeah, and it was obviously a big shock moving from such a very small village to such a massive city that London is. But I've always been one of those people, even from very, very young age, that I really wanted to jump into something new rather than staying in the quiet, sort of comfortable zone as a kid. So I used to go, to the school where no one else would be going of my friends, so I was alone again in a different atmosphere. And I actually went to catering school. Is quite popular. There's a lot of different catering schools in Italy.
So you studied hospitality?
I studied hospitality, yeah.
We're a rare breed nowadays, are we? A lot of people get into this job without studying hospitality. I mean, I think it's coming back, is it?
It's true, yeah. I always have a big respect when I meet somebody that started studying this particular, knowing they wanted to do this particular career. But obviously, there's a lot of very good creative people around that, just happens to be in this particular job, and they excel at it.
What was your first job in hospitality?
First job in hospitality was, I think I started working when I was around 13 or 14. So obviously, during the school time, you have a particular time in the week where you do the theory and the whole either bar and service, also the kitchen side of it, the pastry, and everything sort of together. And then you actually sometimes work for free to kind of start to learn how to tend to the guests and cook different flavors and not really making drinks because you're 14, but just the theory side of it. And then we used to work with our professors, on the weekend. So we'll get like nice pay for that age. And I think I was working every weekend. Obviously, in summer you work 3 months, probably every day. Sometimes,
the infamous summer seasons. It's crazy, yeah.
So there was like a catering sort of a setting. It was like one of the best, probably the best catering in the area. And we used to organize, these massive weddings. Sometimes they were like booking a whole village where we used to go to do the weddings through the streets, with the buffet, banqueting. And obviously that was like, 22 hours of work per day. So.
Yeah, it's crazy because you have to pack the stuff in the morning and then you have to go there, unpack, serve the people for like a stupid amount of hours, and then you have to come back. It's pretty.
You've done this, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Haven't we all?
Yeah, so crazy. Sometimes you sleep in the truck 4 hours and then you start again the next day. But it's a very forming experience. It really toughens you up.
Of course,
especially at such a young age. I'm quite happy that I've done it.
So tell us, what made you decide to move to London?
Well, it was probably because of the fact I was very upset with some of the Italian system in terms of hospitality. One of my latest employer, was, holding pay to not really paying the people that were working for him. So I was quite upset, I just said, let's go somewhere else. And again, I really wanted to jump in something new because I was getting quite comfortable in terms of, I knew what I was doing and it was getting a bit boring. And obviously, it was 2010. All I could say in English was "Hi, my name is," and whatever. That was
Me
quite...
speak manager, please. So you moved to London. How was it? Was it quite difficult? Have you had friends there before? Did you have friends, or did you just moved over?
No. It was just playing. Getting in touch with some agency, and they're generally quite dodgy. All these agencies,
they're mega dodgy. I remember when I moved to London, I had this agency. Oh, this was crazy. So I really needed a job, right? And I found this place was a ice cream place. So we're doing ice cream during the day, like ice cream, pastas, a bit of everything, right? And I arrived there, and the guy says, "Oh, you're Italian. You know how to do pasta? Go downstairs." Never cooked a plate of pasta in my whole life. It's a total disaster. And
they just assume,
and we had this agency, and what they would do, they would organize, say, 10, 15 trial shifts to come to work. And then exactly, just let them go without pay. It was a disaster.
Yeah, so the one I went through, they used to get you to work a week or two in a particular place, obviously no pay. And then I think they were just, rotating the people. So this place will not pay half of his employees all the time.
I think those things have changed, though. I don't think it's happening anymore.
Hopefully not.
So tell us a bit about how did you get the job in Niger?
I was, at the moment I was working, I think I spent 2.5 years in Shoreditch House, the membership club, which is very close by, I think 10 minutes walking distance. And, I was in love with Niger, going there a few different times. And one time I obviously dropped the CV like many of them did. And I think it was the time they were doing some sort of apprenticeship. They just started. So, different bartenders will go there to work a few hours in the morning just to, learn. In exchange, not for money, but in exchange you get knowledge out of your hard work, let's say. You used to do obviously the most simple thing, but there was always a lot to learn. And I think I was working 5 days a week in Shoreditch House, really quite cool membership club. I had a very nice time, a lot of celebrities around. And basically, and I used to spend 1 or 2 days in Niger in the morning. So let's say I was working, Friday till 5, 6 a.m., sleeping 2 hours in the garden area on the couches, and then just going to Niger straight, 10 minutes walk.
How did you get to work with them? Did you just ask them?
I was one of the many people that, just went there and wanted really to work. And I think what... Marian and Luca always said this, is to see how actually people behave behind the bar and choose from that. Because I think that's obviously what I do now as well. You really need to see the level of commitment of somebody, if they really want to be there, what they will push to do, how far they will go. And that was my week, this has pretty much been my week for around 11 months, so almost 1 year, almost every week, at least 1 day a week after... my everyday job. I was going there, helping out with I used to do like a prep shift in the morning. So say, around 8 hours.
Did you learn a
towards
lot
the time.
from these preps?
Quite a lot, yeah. And obviously the results, I could see the results even on Shoreditch House where I was working. Because it's not really about, okay, I'm going there, I'll learn these new ingredients. It's more about the mindset, the mindset, organization, pairing, putting together stuff, and how to work at best in a very small place.
Because Niger is very small, yeah.
Niger is, 2 station. I think the whole bar length is 5 meters or something, And there's always just 2 bartenders and a junior bartender or barback working every night. And we try to rotate this, it's pretty much 75 customers when it's full capacity during the whole night. And some people drink a lot, some people have 4, 6, 7 cocktails.
Yeah, especially in the UK, the drinking culture is like pretty hardcore.
Yeah, very hardcore. So obviously, if there's no system in place, if there's no organization and balance between the team, harmony, let's say, this doesn't work. And this is something I started obviously learning with those 2 guys.
Did you enjoy your time with Marian and Luca?
Very much. Obviously, it was very tough. But again, I always liked, very tough thing, a little bit of a masochist. So the hardest, the better. The more you... It's like when you run, the more you run, that time it really kills you. But then, you can run a little bit longer and faster.
But you guys work like unbearable amount of hours. Do you still do that? Or like, is it still a lot?
I think I try to manage a little bit, maybe differently for the team now. At the moment, we are probably 1 person more than we used to be in the past. There's 1 extra person. And we can actually, with that, I don't want to call it extra time, but with that time that we can spare, we can actually focus a little bit more either on research or going to different markets or the organization itself of the bar or the actual... system but also a lot of our guys now I try to push them a little bit, each one of themselves to focus on a particular topic, so everyone is I try to support a little bit as much as possible on whatever they like to do. So if somebody is into the decoration or in terms of handmade glassware and all this, we try to push this and that. We organize beer courses and just between the team, or we all put the heads together and go somewhere or find a particular thing. So that's.
Do you share facilities in between the bars, Oriol and Niger, or not?
No. At the moment, it's only for the kitchen.
Okay. Do you think it's something that you guys want to implement, or?
I don't know. Maybe in the future. I don't think we have a thought of it. I know a lot of big companies, they try to centralize a little bit. I don't know, preps maybe or batching into a particular location. But I think so far it works quite well for us. And then still, it's a single bar. One bar does something, the other bar does something.
Yeah, you guys do completely different menus, do you? So there's almost nothing that crosses over, probably.
I wouldn't know, to be honest. I don't know exactly. Obviously, they're so prep and. But no. I think at the moment we're happy like this, And also, it's a very good part of your personal development in terms of bartending or even in the other profession. Obviously, in doing that prep time by yourself, or you really either know how to organize yourself and make it all happen within that limited time you have, or it doesn't work. It's so it's a very, very good tool in a way for self-improvement, I believe, doing these preps by yourself. Because generally preps sometimes can go from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a single guy. So just maybe a day a week, we start all double shifts and we prep all together. So when you by yourself, you got some timings, you need to do stuff. It needs to taste properly, it has to be balanced, well done, and within that time, you really need to start to be organized. Otherwise, and generally preps takes, I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 months to understand how to make it by yourself properly. And that's actually a game changer. Whenever we go around, we found ourselves in a different location or different environments. I think maybe it's a little bit easier for us to kind of organize and put the things together and make it happen.
I think that so we all get a lot of pictures and we see how the drinks in Niger look, and you all have your style. Probably one of the things that is not really understood from outside, it's the amount of preparations that you guys do and the amount of research that you guys do. How do you go about doing research for your bar?
Well, it depends on what level of research we're talking about, this research research for ingredients, research for a particular technique or a kitchen technique or tool. The glassware research is generally the one that takes the most time, because you sometimes obviously you start from a different idea when you're formulating the menu from a base idea, and then you need to. I like to do sort of this way, everything needs to kind of match and make sense together in a way that, if something gets to you, if you order something, there's some ingredients here, make sense between each other, and then the glass comes and it also makes sense with the name of the drink or the ingredients inside. It's something that you can maybe relate to, it has to be something, very quick that a customer that maybe, I don't know, he doesn't really care about, he just want to have a drink, refreshing, long drink, he might either appreciate or not, maybe the thought that's behind that.
So, what channels do you use to research? Do you do a lot of internet research or?
Yeah. Obviously, there's a few little tricks I think I started learning through the years. Generally, when research is mainly just about time. The more time you put into it, if you really want to do something and find something, the more time you put into it, the better it is. So a lot of times I just, after shift, I'll spend a few hours researching if I really want to find something specific, and sometimes I just go home in the afternoon, and that's but many times you find them, and sometimes you find unique pieces here you cannot find anymore, so you need to kind of manage it. Sometimes all those glasses get stolen, so you need to come up with something a little bit new.
So you get stealing stuff?
It happens sometimes. Obviously, we don't want to say it. Just happens so many times. Sometimes it happens.
No, it happens to all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody. Wherever you try.
I thought it was mostly coasters, though. Glasses, another level.
Yeah, that's probably easier. Glasses, you need a bit of planning. You need to get rid of the ice. You need to be. Maybe sometimes they take it to the bathroom and you find glassware in the bathroom. They just want to stack them up with towels and put them in the bags or something.
But they do their own research as well, in a way.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a planning involved. Yeah.
Could you tell us some of the drinks that you are most proud of, and what was the thought process behind it?
Wow, it's a good question. There's a very particular one which I'm super happy about. It's the Palma Rosa Fits, which we had on the menu for now. It's the third year, and we keep it in there because it's it works very well. It's a good seller. It's easy to do, easy to sell. Easy pleasing sort of drink. And we actually this was when Sasha Petrasche passed away. And I thought it could be cool to make a drink to kind of as a homage to the guy that was obviously had a big impact in the whole bartending scene. And one of his drinks, I was researching a bit. One of his drinks in the past was the Palma Fits, and it was essentially like a vodka lemon ginger beer, sort of like
Moscow Mule, more or less.
Easy going, yeah, Moscow Mule style, very fresh, refreshing. So from that idea, we just wanted to connect elements of milk and honey into the drink, but not just by using milk and honey. We actually, we just wanted to twist it a bit by using milk oolong tea, which is, very sort of creamy, tasting, fermented Chinese tea. And the honey part, I don't know if you had the chance to see, we do this glass which is a little pouch.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you want to find new glassware, it's easy to buy something which is very expensive, maybe, because you can find awesome glasses.
But very
for
expensive.
Very
you can use
expensive.
in a bar.
Yeah. And, for a small bar like us, obviously, sometimes you need to do a bit of lateral thinking and say, okay, how can I make up something maybe with a 3 or 4 pounds max that could have, an impact and make sense with the whole drink. So we took this cloth. I think the first time we bought either a tablecloth or like a tent or something, and we dip it in melted beeswax. So it soaks because it's like very obviously fatty, oily, and but it solidifies right away. So sometimes, at least once every 2 weeks or a month, you find either Carolina or Sebastiano, they just dipping clothes in hot beeswax and just hanging them away like Mama will do with the clothes outside on a clothesline, and it solidifies, and you have this very sort of hard cloth, which we shape into a little pouch, and it's waterproof, So it's also one of the vessels we always bring to travel because it's, lightweight, doesn't break, smells amazingly because it's, beeswax, very aromatic. And this way, we put these two elements together, the milk oolong, and the honey from, the beeswax idea. Obviously, it's not really easy to get the guest to understand his thought process. It's a little bit like, you can't just talk 5 minutes about a drink and the night has to be going on. But I like to take it around just to showcase a bit, there is a particular thought process behind, and obviously, the pairing between the ingredients. It works quite well. Then eventually, we've been serving the first year, this drink was hanging off, we like sometimes to do the things over the top, hanging off a little stork.
Okay.
Like it was made of resin. And the stork, I had it like, I found it the perfect height, so you could sit at the table, and the pouch itself was hanging from his beak. So like, the stork bringing the babies, it was fun, it was fun. A lot of people, they would just go. Sometimes you need to exploit, I think, even that, that's sort of thing that, it's easy for us to make, it's fast, and people see it and just go, I want that, bam.
I think one of the things I think the industry is moving towards a very minimalistic approach to drinks, I think some of the leading bars, they go towards this almost no garnish drink, right?
Yeah.
While I think there's merit to that, I also think that from a consumer perspective, some of the drinks that you do are incredibly relevant, still nowadays.
Yeah, I agree with that. Actually, my favorite places to go are actually these ones, because you obviously see, there's not a lot of focus on what the drinks look like, but it has to be obviously about the flavor and aroma. So, and that's generally always spot on, that there's a lot of great bars which I enjoy going to. No, it's really good to have a bit of variation. Obviously, what you mentioned to me, sometimes people maybe think of Niger or, okay, crazy garnishes or no. What I'm focusing a bit more on now, it's not having, we don't want to serve like a salad to the guests, but I like to exploit this sort of, for us it's an extra element. Generally, every single drink that we sell comes with a little bite. It's never for the look. It works sometimes for the look. People want to have a little picture, but there is a little bite that you can have, and generally that sort of flavor you get from what you're eating is in contrast, or it pairs with the drink. Say you have, I don't know, a nice drink which is refreshing, sour side, fizzy, and you pair it with, not really pairing, you serve it with a bit of a little chocolate bite. We do this little, I don't know, chocolate Lego man, which is flavored with fig leaves, such a beautiful aromatic flavor. And when you obviously bite into the chocolate, that fattiness is based on white chocolate, so there's quite a lot of fat content. That fattiness stays, coats your mouth. And we try to use it a little bit like chefs do, obviously, or if you think of a classic or food and wine pairing, you have something fatty, you need to cut through with something very clean and, maybe sour. So that's for us. That's for me and the team, an extra element to add, And also generally, sometimes if what you find on the glass in Niger is not edible, which is probably 1 or 2 drinks max in the menu, is there for an aromatic profile. Okay, so there's always a reason. It's never just about the the looks. That comes after. We try to exploit also the color contrast between whatever is the color of the drink or the glass, contrasting with the garnish, so that it could be a little bit more sort of pleasing to the look. Sometimes you need to exploit this sort of subconscious. Many of us know how to that if you enter a room which is very red and yellow, rather than one which is, I don't know, dark green and dark brown, you have different feelings, automatically subconscious feelings. So like if you think of McDonald's using those, bright colors because you want people to come, eat fast, leave, boom, boom, next. Contrasting to different other colors that may actually relax you, like dark green or so. So we try to exploit this a little bit as well, it's more putting a lot of different theories into the drink itself, not just, that looks cool, Instagram, bam, thought followers or whatever. So that's what it is for me, whatever the outcome can be. This is for me, to having a little bit of extra flavors going on. You try to put as many different flavors and contrast in a particular small serve that you pay thought money for as possible, in order to keep the experience going. And
so you actually have a Lego man made of chocolate.
Yeah, we were using it yesterday at Jigger and Pony. It's very fun when you look at it. Obviously, I really like when something comes to the table and people just have an instant reaction. You either laugh or you go like, because that's just primordial. It's a primordial emotion. You see the little Lego man is funny, you know.
It's super funny, yeah.
You can't say you can say anything you want about it. You can say, oh, okay.
Like, I'm laughing about it. I've seen the bloody
it tastes
thing.
amazingly. It works great with the drink, but then it gets to you and you have a little laugh, you know. And that's if you can, I think, exploit that. If you can transmit that sort of instant emotion, I think, yeah, you know, the guests will come back.
We talked about a little bit about the immense research that you guys do.
Immense is a big word. Huh?
No, but you do a lot of research, and I mean, you're one of the leading bars when it comes to that. And we mentioned the fact that you guys do a lot of preparations, but I think some of that preparation is actually spilling into the market. And I think you're doing a line of bitters, if I'm not mistaken, or you have your own product with Marian?
Yes, exactly. Electric bitter was Marian's first idea. This was 10 years ago when he was back in Montgomery Place. We found this. He found this little flower and he wanted to translate this particular sensation, which is a bit like Szechuan pepper works, into drinks. And obviously we started extracting it together, adding a lot of different spices. So the extraction process, actually, I don't know, there's about 70 spices. They're all singularly extracted and we all put them together in sort of a recipe, different balances. And it's a fun product. You obviously introduce a lot of different, a bit of complexity into drinks. And that sensation is not only like surprising or funny for guests. It also works in terms of like, as we were talking about fat a minute ago, you know, it kind of coats your mouth, it stays around your mouth, and is also able to catch the flavors that are going on into the drink. So essentially, in a way, kind of add some length into the drinks itself. You know, it's like, we use a drink, a steroid for drinks.
So, and
have
you launched it on the market yet?
Electric Bitter has been on the market for the last year, I think, and we are currently in 10 different countries. But obviously, it's a bitter. I'm not expecting to, you know, we're getting quite big orders sometimes, but I'm not expecting, you know, bar to use a bottle a week or so. You know, it's a bitter.
To become a trillionaire.
Yeah, 200 drops to eat. And it started almost like a little joke, but our company itself, you know, the future products, we have around 6 or 7 different products in mind, and they will be focused on this something that starts generally from very raw ingredients, raw spices, and also without the use of obviously flavorings. Very often, you know, unfiltered, because we found out obviously filtration takes away a lot of the flavor itself, and is not only focusing on flavor only, but also about the mouthfeel and, you know, a lot of different other sensation that might go on, texture, mouthfeel, and might go on in your mouth, and sometimes a bit overlooked.
Are you touring Asia at the moment?
We're going to be in, I think we're going to spend a couple of weeks around different cities in Asia. And next stop is Bangkok, then will be Shanghai, Hong Kong, Beijing. So it's in between a nice work experience, but also, you know, it's not a lot of hours of work into it, you know, it's also a bit of a holiday.
But it's quite cool because you get to experience a lot of different parts of Asia, right? You know,
yeah,
I think it's quite different.
Yeah, I haven't really spent that much time in Asia. I was just in Shanghai a few months ago, and I was in Hong Kong and Macau a few months ago. But yeah, our initial idea is maybe of Asia expectation, and when you actually get here, and it blows you away, really, and the amount of, you know, fast development and things, you know, seems to be a higher level of organization in every sort of field.
Do you still do the playing cards?
Yeah, we've been doing the playing cards from the very first year, and that's actually one of the things, you know, we have obviously for brands. We have a nice photo shoot, and every single drink is on a different card, and we give them away as a souvenir so very often. So it's a nice little reminder, obviously, and it works for brands. Brands are happy.
It's a very cool idea, the playing card. Very cool idea.
Not my idea. I don't have any.
No, I know, but it's still done very well. So congratulations to that. Last questions I ask to everybody. Sure. If you could have a last drink, what would that drink be?
Last drink?
Your very last drink.
My very last drink will have sherry in it. I'm really into savory. Yeah. Just, you know, the length of, you know, savory ingredients. So probably it's going to be based on Amontillado or Palo Cortado or something. Yeah.
It was awesome stuff. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Niger is one of my favorite bars in the world. So it's amazing to have you here. It's probably where I started to really fall in love with bartending. So it's great to see that Niger is still
Thank you very much.
Going mega strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed our chat with Tony. You can find more content from us on YouTube and Instagram, where we post our hashtag #HowToClassicCocktails video, where every week we show you how to make classic cocktails in less than a minute. We are Unjiggered_media on Instagram, and you can follow our personal accounts at mmariotti89 for Michele, Alex J. Murphy for myself, and Adrian Bessa for Adrian. Thank you for listening.